Hello, planet watchers. Welcome to Sagittarius. Hey, Mary Jane.
How are you, Christy? How are you doing?
Doing okay. It's kind of rainy and gross here. What's it doing
Oh,
in
we're
Switzerland?
we're freezing. We're freezing here in Switzerland already. There was snow on the roofs this morning. We got some snow last night. It's 0 degrees. That is to say, well, yeah, whatever that is, 32 for you Fahrenheit people. And gonna be colder tomorrow. It's just like already winter. North wind. Oh, I'm all bundled up because it's terrible out.
Oh, yeah. You've got your scarf and everything. Oh, that's a
Oh,
great
yeah.
color for you.
I'm just not ready. It's not my
Mhm.
favorite season.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. And of course, we are here to talk about Sagittarius, which I always think of in terms of adventure and travel and all of these things. But who wants to get out and travel around in this kind
Well, right, right. I'm thinking any traveling to do on these slick streets, if they get slick, and they're bound to be, you've got to be just really careful, really
of
careful. We've got some good planets set up that are going to be acting pretty well for us for a little while, but still, it's a very good time to be careful when you're in your movements then.
So, yeah, what do we have coming up in Sagittarius? I mean, we're recording this as of November 21st. Are we already in Sagittarius?
Yeah, yeah. Was it today or yesterday? I think that the sun went into Sagittarius.
Yes, we're a little bit
And
involved.
your side. I think it was this morning for us. Anyway, yeah, the sky in the big picture, this looks a lot like the last 2 or 3 months, in fact, with the heavy planets, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Jupiter even, are in a very nice kite situation. It looks very cooperative. Everyone's trying to explain themselves and get things done, but it's fragile. All of these slower planets are in retrograde now. They're opposite the sun. They're all going on in the spring sky and just not behaving themselves. It's the cooperation, but it's extremely fragile with this retrograde movement in mind. It's going to send us back this month, next month, maybe even into Aquarius. It's a time when we have to go back and look at the old plans, look at the old ideas, look at the earlier negotiations that were going on. Can we pick up some of these ideas, polish them off, and make them a little more copacetic for everyone concerned? Now, this touches all of us. I always look at the big picture with these different wars and political arguments going on, but it's true in your contract negotiations. It's true in your buying and selling negotiations on whatever level. It's true in job hunting. It's true in some of your more sensitive medical situations, medical treatments you're undergoing. So, depending on your particular natal chart, we can use these elements positively. But again, it's fragile, it's not lasting long. And we can count on the early period of Sagittarius, that is by from the 21st today on into the 2nd of December, to get some proper talking going on, get proper discussions going on. That again, counting on maybe some of the earlier ideas, some of the earlier treatments and the facts that were existent at an earlier time, up until really the 2nd of December, maybe even the 4th of December. But then we get in trouble after the 6th of December. The Sun and Mars are going to be challenging this lovely trine formation, this lovely agreement going on in the sky, and it gets to be kind of sticky. All of a sudden, these personalities show up again. All of a sudden, the tone turns more into arguments and recriminations and threats, and all of the undoing of this nice negotiating attitude. Now we've got a lot of help coming early on again from Mercury in the bottom, and then Venus is going to chime in, bringing also a lot of technical and financial considerations into your various types of negotiation. This is going to go on until the 7th of December. So we can count on a bit of help coming from the fast planets as well, again, early on. Let's wrap this up before the 7th of December if we can. Now, we've got some good moons in here that I'll point out. First of all, I've got some very good dates for this kind of negotiation, this kind of discussion on the 23rd and 24th of November coming up this weekend, the 28th of November, the 3rd of December, the 7th, and also on the full moon of the 4th and 5th of December is kind of like this, but again, that depends on what your moon is doing in your chart. And then the 16th of December, 16th, 17th of December are quite good dates for discussion, serious discussion, calm discussion. Some bad dates to avoid are maybe the 27th and the 30th of November, the 2nd of December. And I'm not crazy about the 8th of December. And then the full moon on the 19th, 20th of December is difficult, very difficult, which will also coincide with the solar ingress into Capricorn at that point. So, yeah, pick and choose the times when you can sit down and talk amicably, get things done, again, on a medical basis. I would use these good dates for undergoing any treatments that you can elect, at least, if you have choices to make in that department. These are some workable dates. And try hard to avoid where these dates where the moon is just not cooperating at all.
Yeah, that's the whole point of doing this every month.
Well, yes, yes, we can surf the waves, even of the big 7-footers, but you've got to know where they are, where they're coming from, and how to get on top. And that depends purely on your own natal dispositions of planets, after all.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anything else that we should be looking for in Sagittarius?
Well, yes, at the same time, we've got Venus is going to be changing signs. She's changing signs and making what it could be a very useful sextile to Pluto. Again, this is a lot of talking about money, about financing different projects and so on, getting some very clear and practical financial information into the picture. However, at the same time, this Venus at that time will be making some very odd and difficult aspects to, well, our friends Chiron, our friends Eris, and our friends Sedna, these tiny little asteroids that seem to have a great deal to do about karmic situations. Sedna is making me a bit sad here because the opposition with Venus is going to create difficulty for people who are on the move, refugees, people who are lost. There are more and more as different tragic situations are setting up. Plus, it's getting to be winter in all of these places that are under fire. And people who are displaced are going to have real problems through this same period. Venus is making then a semi-square to Pluto from the 12th to the 16th of December. So then, in fact, all of these people, and I think about them often because it's just, they're so many, and there are so many people living in destitute situations.
Oh.
And it's going to become very difficult for them to get any help in spite of all the talk going on, in spite of all the offers of the different non-government organizations, and everybody wants to put money in and help refugees who are displaced and so on. And there are so many very selfish people, individuals, who are blocking the entire progress. And we're going to be seeing this toward the end of the second part of December, more and more as it gets colder and colder. Let's not forget that winter in these different places is dreadful.
Yeah. Oh, it's very, very dreadful and on us already. Yeah, that's
Yes, yes, indeed.
now, of course, here in the States, our House just voted to release Epstein files. I believe it's going to a vote in Senate now. What seems to be the climate for things coming to light
Well,
or
exactly.
done?
And I'm counting heavily on this movement with Mercury coming direct, finally, 28th, 29th of November,
Mm,
making very nice aspects to Jupiter, who's in charge of legal movements, after all, making very positive aspects to Uranus, which is going to invite the element of surprise into these revelations. I think we're going to see some very interesting things. And a very nice aspect then to Neptune and Saturn. So I'm thinking that this new movement of Mercury, and helped a little later by Venus, is going to be extremely useful in different judicial movement. And we're going to see a lot of revelations. We're going to see a lot of, first of all, just hostility to any non-sayers, people who are throwing up smoke screens and saying, no, we can't get involved here. That this does not hold water, and nobody's going to be paying any attention to them. I think this is a time when we can really see progress in true liberation of these incredible files.
Good. I think
Yeah, I'm thinking from that point of view. And again, we've got to count on this early period because a little later, the personalities step in again. And we're going to see so many blockers from the Trump camp. This is happening all over the world. Mars is getting to be quite nasty a little later in the month. And will be doing his best to the saber rattling and counter threats. And I expect quite voluble personal threats. I think we can get that far. In any case, this is going on, well, already with Mars from the 30th of November and clear through the month into the new moon on the 19th of December. And is going to be doing his best to block judicial progress from the 6th to the 13th of December. So, yes, Mars is acting up. But well, I'm an optimist. I just am kind of in my own times of peace. And I think that all told, this period of revelation is going to carry the day. I think finally, who is listening really to individual threats and to more or less paper tigers making noises about getting in the way of true progress? I don't know. I hope so.
right. I hope so too. And the American people are clearly getting tired of the
Well,
obfuscation and
exactly. Disgust. Disgust.
yeah. So good. I'm hoping that we'll have some answers soon. And yeah, there's going to be a little bit of everybody involved in this, Democrat and Republican alike, and they
Yes.
all need to be revealed.
True.
That's just
True.
not
True. So this is where I think the Uranian process of throwing new light, opening some really wild doors and windows that are totally unexpected right now. But I think that this is going to be extremely telling in the days to come here.
yeah, I think so too. I had been hearing from some people who are very intuitive and have certain spiritual gifts that there may be some news about the Trump administration not making it through December. I don't know. Does that look possible in this alignment?
One element that I could imagine being troublesome in that department is the opposition that's being made now from Mercury to Uranus. Yes, this can be an excitable element in a crowd situation. However, I think this Mercury looks so well aligned to the other planets that, to my thinking, it doesn't look that physical. Now, yeah, if this is a judicial or political implosion, that could be another issue, and this could be entirely likely. If
Yeah.
all of a sudden the whole cabinet goes to trial and just there are so many questions out there that cannot be ignored anymore, then maybe we could talk about an implosion. But from a physical aspect, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay. Interesting. Also, I wanted to know if you have been tracking this three-eye atlas comet body. Have you,
Not at all. Not at all. I don't even know where it is right now.
yeah, you know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Yeah, but I haven't been paying attention to it really.
It's very interesting. Very interesting. Of course, they're calling it a comet. NASA had a presser the other day, and they were like, "Yes, it's a comet. It's a comet. It's a comet. 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 Comet." But there are some saying it doesn't look like a comet. It doesn't act like a comet. It doesn't follow comet rule.
I don't know. I haven't looked at the astronomy of the thing at all, so I don't know even what to say. I'll have a look in there. It's kind of a curious question.
Now, it is supposed to come closest to the Earth around December 19th. That's coming up.
It is. For- Well, close. Now, are we talking about 1,000,000 miles or are we talking about a skillion miles or just how many?
A relative term. Yeah, kind of
Quite right. Quite right. Maybe close enough to, for Hubble to get a better look at it. But then is this going to represent a threat? I don't know. I don't know anything about that. I mea culpa. I always think we've got enough to do to look at these planets and seem to be more real
Yeah,
for us.
the one that we know about. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Which brings me to my friend Venus. Well, she's an old buddy. She's an old buddy, and she's been doing some very nice things, especially through the first part of this period of Sagittarius. However, she's moving pretty fast these days through the end of Scorpio, and will be getting into Sagittarius then in the 29th already in November. And then later on, 16th to the 25th of December, Venus is making a really nasty square, I think, to Saturn and Neptune. Now, this first of all, a financial, I'm looking for some serious problems on the stock exchange. And on a personal level, this is maybe the worst time in the century to be making wedding plans.
Oh,
This is a time not to sign any contracts, not to promise anything to anybody, because you don't know who these people across from you are. There are some very serious illusions to be put to rest in any contractual situation. Any. There's also a yod, the famous 150-degree angle between Venus and Jupiter and Uranus. Same time, 15th to the 20th of December. And this is telling me, wait, let's get the fact, let's get straight with certain people around us that we shouldn't be promising too much to. And maybe not believe everything that's on the table right now in front of us, because we've got to get some new facts. So I'm thinking, if this absolutely has to be done, I'm thinking it's better to elope before the 15th of December, get it over with. You'll have a better chance. Maybe you don't know everything about this person, but it seems more honest anyway than waiting for later in the month. Much better. I always thought Christmas weddings were so beautiful, and they really are, candlelight and everything. It's just gorgeous. But everyone I've ever known has ended in divorce. Just pointing this out.
well, I mean, late December is a really weird time anyway because there's so much holiday stuff going on.
True enough. True enough. I don't know. Well, that hasn't put off many people. The winter red and green and all this stuff and the candles and so on just kind of gets to people. And while they're quite beautiful, they don't seem to work very well. So, Sagittarius is weird anyway to be getting married in.
I bet. So we've also got the solstice coming up during
Obviously. Obviously.
right at the very end of Sagittarius.
That's when it happens every year.
Every year. So, what kind of conditions will we have this solstice?
Well, let's see what we've got. But this is all happening under a new moon, which is already kind of interesting. That new moon is where exactly? At the end of, like the 1st of January, practically. So, yeah, it's always kind of interesting when these things happen together. Yeah, I don't know. We'll certainly have a better look at this as we get into Capricorn. This is the beginning of Capricorn, after all. And we'll have a better look at it. But I'm thinking with these very rough dates, well, Venus here sitting square to Saturn. Saturn is the ruling planet of Capricorn and will be in charge of the solstice period, after all. So with the Venus in square to Saturn and Neptune, I think, first of all, it's a very difficult time to be traveling. And, that's with the sun as well. They're doing the same things. And so as the sun goes square to this Saturn, at the same time, I'm thinking it's an important time to be taking care of one's health, first of all. We're going to see a lot of winter flu. We're going to see another outbreak of COVID and all these famous viral diseases, bacterial diseases as well, and especially viral with Neptune. Odd situations that are hard to take care of. You must take care of your health and you must just avoid, I would say, making unnecessary promises. It's not a time to be promising away things that you can't take care of and accepting promises from other people that are probably not too dependable. We'll have more of a look at that as we draw up the ingress, which is exactly that, the ingress into Capricorn.
Also, I wanted to ask you about all of this solar activity. We've been having sunstorms and spots and flares and explosions and things. And I know it's been affecting us here, at least in my little neighborhood. UMKC is down the street from me. It's a university. They have
Uh-huh.
computer outages. I was at the bank yesterday and their computers were down. In fact, they said they had gone out a couple hours every day this week.
Gosh, yeah, well, we've seen a lot of it. I've had nothing but trouble. I mean, it was
Oh,
2 weeks ago that I bought my new computer, right?
yeah, right.
The other one imploded. It just went away and died.
Oh, yes. Oh, it was a mess.
Apparently, this has been happening a lot. The salesperson that I've known for a long time, where I go for my implements, was just busy as a one-armed paper hanger. He didn't know where he was getting off because everyone was coming in for new equipment, just everything and repairs, just you name it. So yeah, I think it's been a lot.
Yeah, well, tell me solar flares are a thing without telling me solar flares are a thing. And a lot of people are feeling this personally as well. Headache, a lot of headaches, a lot of aches and pains, insomnia, extreme fatigue. I mean, just like all kinds of weird things. In astrology, do you deal much with like solar storms and solar flares?
Not over much. I'm interested this month, in any case, in the opposition again of Mercury to Uranus that's shaping up now and will be going on for another couple of weeks. Again, we come back to the nervous system. Mercury is the cognitive thinking. This is the day-to-day workings of our intelligent part of our brain. And Uranus is in charge of the entire nervous system. And so when we get these two planets in opposition like this, boy, we've got a situation that's really in overdrive and requires a great deal of rest, a great deal of calm, a great deal of meditation. Some very good things can come out of meditation at the same time. But we can easily imagine a cerebral overload, which will show up in headaches, which will show up in migraines, which will show up in different neurological problems. Some of them can be quite dangerous, in fact.
Yeah, yeah, this is true. I just think it's interesting. I've been following solar weather and 3 Eye Atlas a lot lately.
Okay. Yeah, you can tell me some more about it a little later because I haven't. I tell you the truth, for some reason, I've had every Taurus I ever knew has been in consultation this month. Oh, several said this as well, but Taurians and Scorpio folks are just coming out of the woodwork. They're just all over the place. And so I've been a busy beaver.
Good for you. Good for
Yes, well,
you.
which is fine, which is fine. I love it. Keep coming in. But yeah, it's just maybe all of these folks are suffering from solar spots and we're just not aware of it. I've seen a lot of other traffic going on for them, but maybe it's just solar spots too.
Well, I mean, there's always something, isn't there? Just always
For sure.
going on.
And it depends on, what's going on in each individual chart, and that's where it's at.
That's where it's at. So that's why if you're watching this, we're looking at the highlight reel. We're talking about what are the big things that are going to affect most of the people, maybe the planet in general. If you've got these tendencies in your chart, this will affect you more than others. But you know what? Get
Check
your
it
own
out.
chart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is where it comes home and becomes something useful. All of this information is good to know. But if you're going to be using it, find out where and what and how you can do these things the best.
And you know what for me really drives it home in this particular episode of Planet Watch is what you were saying about Mercury, that Mercury affects the nervous system.
Oh,
And, every planet affects different systems of the body. So,
exactly, exactly, exactly.
behoove you to find out where these planets are and how it affects your health, especially if you have weird health stuff going on.
Yeah. True, and Neptune is especially qualified to give us bizarre medical symptoms, things that we cannot monitor, things that often we cannot even treat, but that we have to be aware of somehow, if only to protect our own fragility, see where these things are happening. Yeah, astrology, I wanted to point out, several times we've talked about these things, but maybe not enough in that a first look at the natal chart can be so useful from a medical point of view. Seeing where your fragile points are, seeing where preventive medicine is going to be useful, see if classical medicine or alternative medicine works the best for you. This is extremely useful and extremely easy to pick out from the natal chart. I love to get involved with this upriver of problems that we see later in life. If we can talk about treating terrains that are sort of fragile white, you can save yourself a lot of trouble.
Well, I think it could be very helpful at any stage of life, but if you've got a new baby,
For sure. For
what to look
sure.
at, especially if they're born with medical needs. Now, you can't go to the doctor and say, well, my astrologer said that, I've got this problem with my nervous system, right? They'd laugh you out of the office.
I do. I do. And my clients, they're not. Luckily, we know some pretty good doctors that are sort of, oh, yeah, okay, paying attention to these things.
I know my doctor would because she's lovely, but yeah, but it's helpful to know these things, especially like if you're, like I said, you got a new baby, or maybe you've got this weird health thing going on and nobody can figure it out.
Yeah, yeah, true enough. It's very interesting to get involved astrologically in looking at your own health situation.
Oh, absolutely. Health, karma, relationships, career, children, family, all of these things. And so to make an appointment to get a chart done, you go to radiatewellnesscommunity.com/appointment. Scroll down the list to sessions with Mary Jane. What you want is a natal chart. So that's the first step before anything else.
For
So
sure.
that natal chart done, and then schedule an appointment with Mary Jane. Notice that you'll have to schedule it at least a week out if you can to give Mary Jane time to draw it up and analyze it. So
That's right. That's right. I need time. We can't do these things tomorrow. It's just not possible. Plus, there's a time difference. I'm living in Europe, and this can be important in scheduling. So, if you're making appointments direct, you must make morning appointments and give
I
me
got it.
time to do the work. Give me time to do the work, which I will gladly do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've done it again, Mary Jane. We have gone through an entire season of astrology. Next up is going to be Capricorn.
Yes, and we're getting involved in the dead of winter and the really cold climates here in the north anyway. I know, I was thinking today, all you people looking in from South America or Africa, you're probably wondering the problem is why we're all wrapped up like this. But we're really getting involved in some heavy winter stuff. Anyway, the solstice is always a promise of a newness. It's always a re-beginning. It's literally the birth of light. So yeah, there's that to look forward to.
Right? We've got the solstice, we've got Hanukkah, we got Kwanzaa, we got Christmas, of course. We've got
Of course.
all kinds of like 50 different holidays coming up between now and the end of the year,
You're right.
right? Happy holidays, everyone.
Everyone, everywhere, every kind. And we'll talk more about the end of the year when I see you next.
All right.